Well, I guess this is happening again. The Kohm, a weapon you use when you don't want to use your brain in the slightest. Hold down the trigger and just point it in the general direction of your enemy. High status, high fire rate, not too shitty reload speed. It's effectively a genericist's wet dream, meaning it's incredibly easy to build for high damage. The downside is that it comes default with a D polarity, so unless you're a fucking loser, you'll most likely be formatting that away. Let's get started. I currently use the Kuva Kohm, but the build is identical for the non-Kuva variant as well. You just won't get as good of results, but I'm sure you can use your brain and figure out why. For some reason I got lucky when fighting my lich. The fucker dropped my Kohm with a 90% status chance as base, so the end result of this build sits around 330% status, which is more than enough for almost all of the shit you'll be doing with this type of weapon. It is, after all, a generic build. Now for the mods. I shouldn't have to explain, but I'll briefly go over them. Primed point blank and primed charged shell are just there to pump up our damage numbers. Galvanized hell is there because it grants a higher multi-shot than if you were using Hell's Chamber. If you bitch about needing to get 4 kills for the stack, then go sit in the fucking corner with your dunce hat. Shotgun Barrage is one of those mods you can technically substitute if you want to rely on a Warframe like Wisp or Chroma. I personally prefer to have the weapon work nicely without any buffs, and then stack onto that. The last 4 mods are an obvious given. Those push our status to 255% on the base Kohm. If you're someone who has already done the math with this build and wondering how I get 330% status on the Kuva Kohm, it's because I have a Riven that has 83% status chance, which I use to replace Frigid Blast to pump the status higher. The last 2 things are Silent Battery and Primary Merciless. If you aren't aware of what Primary Merciless does, it grants a 30% primary weapon damage buff on kill. This stacks up to 12 times, which I'm sure you can guess why that's pretty fucking good. Silent Battery is somewhat of an oddity here, but I've opted to run it in my personal build for true genericity. This allows me to even use it in spy missions without being detected.
I'll say goodbye soon, though it's the end of